Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And we say good morning to the chair of the Waikanae Community Board, Jocelyn Prvanov. Good morning, Jocelyn.
Good morning, Nigel. How are you doing?
I'm well. Have you been down to the beach and seen the foreshore, how messed up it is after those big waves?
Yes, I actually went down there last night, and there's certainly a lot of driftwood, but I've noticed it certainly at the northern end of Waikanae Beach, there's the sand dunes have been cut back to probably between a height of 2 to 2.5 metres.
Yes.
So all those, I think the tracks, the official tracks are fine, but the ones that potentially come down from people's properties are probably inaccessible at this point in time.
Yes, those waves must be massive. I went down to the Waikanae Boating Club and had a look down there, and it cut within about a metre of the top of the bank there before getting into their car park. So that's how high they were, and there's logs thrown up onto the bank that high, and that's a heck of a height, isn't it? Yes,
yeah. Well, it's like I know last night about 8 or so o'clock the tide was out, so it must have been because I was actually caught up in Auckland and I couldn't get back on a plane, but I assume that all the damage was done after the tide came back in again.
Yeah, on Tuesday night when we had the high tide at about whatever time it was in the morning. So
I also noticed along there that there were those little tiny blue
bottles. No.
Well, actually, not the blue bottles, the other ones that came up in mass strands a while ago. So there might actually be a little bit of a smell that might start in maybe in the next day or so.
Sure.
Not anywhere as bad, but there was certainly a consistent line all along the beach.
Those are those stinky ones, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, they're back again. Yes, I was down there the night before the big storm came in, and there was a lot of blue bottles on the beach as well. So, is there any repairs necessary on the sand dunes that you know of?
Well, not that I could see. It was probably only about 300 metres that I walked along, and I suppose it's hopefully given time it'll start to build up again. But
yes.
You wouldn't want to have too many more storms like that in a short space of time. Obviously, there's a few more issues further south there.
Yes.
But I think, we've probably come off fairly lightly.
We have indeed. They're talking about another cyclone next week, Kelvin, but I haven't heard too much about it, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Now, we've got a mass bird death at the Farrison Lake, haven't we? So they say about 400 ducks have died, is that right?
Yes, but I was aware over the weekend there was about 200. So this is, it's avian botulism, and it's where I suppose the water levels the water temperatures get warm, there's lack of oxygen, and so basically the birds, they become paralysed, and then they unfortunately end up dying. My understanding is if you find birds, it's not ideal to go and touch them, but if you see birds like that, if you contact the SPCA, they can actually provide treatment and they will recover.
Okay.
But and hopefully, with this rain, because I noticed in our rain gauge we probably had 2 inches of rain, that with the turbulence and the fresh water, that's actually helping to reduce the inoculum level. The key thing there is to stop, certainly dogs from actually going and grabbing these dead birds, and I know that council are doing a very good job and actually going there checking very, very regularly to remove those dead carcasses. Right.
So does it affect humans? I mean, can we get affected by it? No.
Apparently not.
Okay.
I think cats and dogs are the main animals that we should be concerned with.
Okay. But the lake reserve is still open for people to walk around if they wish to.
Yes, but it's very well signed over there to say, to warn them of the issue, and so people just need to take heed of those.
It'll be a quiet pond around there with 400 ducks dead, that's for sure, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it also affects seagulls.
Oh. Okay, all right. Well, we'll just keep an eye on that. But if you've got a dog, don't let it off the leash and don't let it attack one of these birds for lunch.
I think there might have been one or two other ponds around the area that have, maybe down towards the southern end of Waikanae, that have found one or two birds, but not to the same extent up there.
Okay. Now, we've got a meeting. We haven't had a meeting for a long time, have we? We cancelled one in January, so when's the next one?
So the next meeting, I think it's the, let me think, it's about, I think it's the 13th of March.
Oh, yes, okay, a couple of weeks away. Yep.
Yeah, so that will be in 7 o'clock.
Right.
in the old senior sits hall.
Oh, right, back to the normal spot. Because the last one we had down at Waikanae Beach, we were talking about the character assessment there of the beach area. Has anything more been done about that?
So that is basically the end of that process, and that information will be then fed into any potential plan change, which will have already started work on, or it may be somewhere in the pipeline over this financial year or next financial year.
Okay. So we've got to look at now, I suppose, Rakarangi. That's another important part of our district. They're starting to get very involved with the community board too, aren't they?
Yeah, so they came to the community board maybe 6 months ago with the plan of going through the same type of process, and I'm not quite sure where that is, but I know that they have had a community afternoon where they gathered a lot of information about what the community would like and where it was actually the beginning of the process. And I think there's one member of the community board who's actually involved in that, but I think it's actually probably taking a bit longer than they'd actually hoped.
Right. Okay. So Jeremy Seamark, one of your board members, he's in sort of the liaison person, is he, with them?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, sure. Freedom Camping, no more problems there, or have we still got problems?
I haven't heard of any recently.
Right. So we might have got that under control, do you think?
Yeah, well, I suppose it's one of those things that's always sitting there and it probably comes and goes.
Right. All right then, Janet. So Jocelyn, I should say, not Janet, Jocelyn. Thanks for that, and we'll get hold of you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, okay. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you. There we are, Jocelyn Prvanov.
106.3 Beach FM.